And welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. Now, I am a bit of a steelbook collector, and in 2014 I actually did a video of 10 steelbooks that I would like to see. Now, 3 or 4 of these steelbooks actually ended up coming out within the kind of subsequent few years, so I thought I would do an updated 2018 version with some new kind of ideas about what I would like to see about upcoming steelbooks. Now, I'm going to go through 10 of my favourite picks, and I'd encourage anyone who'd like to kind of maybe participate to the comment, let me know your kind of dream steelbooks, if you like, or even do a video so we can kind of see the artwork we're talking about. Number one for me is going to be 47 Meters Down. This is a shark movie that I was a big fan of, and this is really a personal choice. Now, I don't think the artwork for the movie was particularly good and kind of really warranted a steelbook, so I would actually be in favour of maybe a shot of the film or some new artwork for this one. This is just one that I found online that I'm showing you on screen here. I don't think it's actually an official, or at least kind of any artwork that I've seen for the movie. Number 2, Army of Darkness, with this specific artwork. Now, we do have an Army of Darkness steelbook that came out through Zavvi, which had the alternate artwork, and I was always a bigger fan of this artwork here. I used to have a big poster of this, and this is not so much artwork that you see there so much these days. You normally see different artwork for the Army of Darkness, so this is a great piece of artwork. I absolutely love it. Maybe an over muscular version of Ash, as he really is, but nonetheless, I would love to have a steelbook with this particular artwork, with this kind of like this red background. I think it is fantastic. So let's move on. Number 3. This is actually one that I did mention before my previous video, but I'm going to mention it again. This is Beastmaster. This is a classic 80s sword and sorcery movie. Probably nearly as revered, I would say, as kind of maybe the Conan movies. Not quite, but nearly. And definitely could get a steelbook release. It's been released a couple of times on Blu-ray now, but I would love to actually see a steelbook. And ideally with this artwork that we have on display here. There have been a couple of other kind of versions of the artwork, and I don't think they're as strong as this one. Number 4, this again is another movie that I've mentioned previously, but I'll mention it again. Battle Beyond the Stars. This is one of the kind of like the Roger Corman's best movies, if you ask me. A kind of a space retelling of the Seven Samurai story, and obviously came out in the kind of the wake stories. It's a great movie. I love this movie so much. It's so much fun with some great characters. I would love to have this on a kind of a steelbook release. Next one I'm going to talk about is Dog Soldiers. Now, I can't believe this one doesn't have a steelbook, to be honest with you. They've made the descent, and I can't believe that they haven't had a Dog Soldiers steelbook. Now, here's the thing with this movie. I don't think the artwork for this film is particularly good. So in this instance, for me personally, rather than seeing a kind of recreation of the poster, I'd maybe like some original artwork, or kind of something along the lines of what I'm showing you now, or maybe a picture of one of the werewolves, because I don't think the artwork is particularly cinematic looking for this movie. So maybe something a little bit different on that one. And the next one I'm going to go is kind of the same sort of thing. Now, this is the movie Blade. Now, there have actually been a variety of steelbooks for the original Blade movie, but they've all been more or less the same. They've all kind of shown the back of Blade's head, and we've had one in the UK. There's been a Japanese steelbook and a Canadian steelbook, I believe. They've all had the same image with kind of different levels of zooming in. So I would like to see a completely different image for the original Blade steelbook, and this is one that I found online. And I thought this is a pretty cool picture, so maybe something like this would be a great kind of steelbook to have for the original Blade movie, which is, to be honest with you, one of the most sort of seminal and influential superhero movies that have come out, and doesn't get the kind of respect that it deserves. So maybe could have another release. The next one I'm going to talk about is a more modern film, and this is the Conjuring 2. Now, there actually has been a steelbook of this, but I would like to see specifically this artwork on a steelbook. Now, this is the painting of the nun Valak, the Dun Demon, and I would like to see a steelbook with just this on here, with no artwork, with no writing on it. You could have maybe the kind of the Conjuring title on the J card, but on the actual steelbook itself, it's just to have a recreation of the Valak painting, which does in fact play a big part of the actual part of the story within the actual film itself. So that would be great. The next one I'm going to talk about is Punisher Warzone. Now, this is the only Marvel movie that does not have a steelbook, as far as I'm aware. I mean, couple of TV movies maybe, but this is the only cinema release, at least, of a Marvel film that currently does not have a Steelbook release. Even Man-Thing has a DVD Steelbook, and I would like, admittedly, I'd like to see a Blu-ray Steelbook of that, but this has nothing. There is really no limited edition versions of Punisher Warzone at all. Now, this was actually, cinematically speaking, the lowest grossing of any Marvel film to date, which is perhaps why they haven't kind of invested in a lot of collector's versions of it, maybe because they don't see the value in it. But I mean, with the new Punisher TV series on Netflix, I'm sure more people would kind of be more invested in to get into it. Now, again, I'm not too worried about the actual artwork here. There's been actually quite a few different kind of poses from Ray Stevenson, the actor, that I've seen on different DVD releases. So I think one of these kind of like, something like this photo that I've got here will be a great kind of looking Steelbook. Maybe a kind of a black and white effect on, I think will be quite good. And the next one I'm going to talk about is, again, one I've kind of talked about in my previous video, and this is kind of the original artwork I would like to see released on a Star Wars Steelbook. Now, the thing with this one is that the original cuts of the movie, not the special editions, are actually partially owned by Fox. Now, with the potential of Disney buying Fox, that means they could in fact release the original despecialized editions officially of the cuts of the movie Star Wars. So I would like to see a release of the original cut of Star Wars with this kind of original artwork, rather than the kind of like the more modern sort of style artwork that we've maybe had on the current Steelbook and things like that. So that's what I would love to see for a kind of old school, classic looking Star Wars. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is a modern movie, and this is Terrifier. Now, this was a kind of a gory kind of slasher movie that came out just recently and has a very kind of a striking villain in Art the Clown. And I think this would look great next to the kind of the Steelbooks that we have for It and the Clown movie itself. It's called Clown. And I think it would be a really kind of striking looking kind of Steelbook with a kind of like the black background like we see in the poster here, with the kind of obviously his kind of like white face and stuff. I think that'd be a really kind of striking looking Steelbook. And that is my top 10 current list of Blu-ray Steelbooks that I would like to see. What do you think of my selection? Any ones you particularly like or disagree with? And tell me your selection below. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.